Script 07. There are two human histories, but you only know one. Category, divergent history. Alternative timelines. Estimated runtime, 12-14 minutes. SEO target, alternative human history. Tartaria, hidden history. Forbidden archaeology. Thumbnail concept, split Earth image. One side showing conventional history timeline, other side showing the other timeline. Red text, which one is real? Tarmanatran, image scene tags. Each tag maps to a specific image to source. Use these for Ken Burns sourcing. Baghdad battery clay, jar copper cylinder, Iraq museum artifact, Antikythera, mechanism, bronze gears, Greek museum, ancient computer, Dendera temple, Hathor, Egypt, ancient stone carvings, relief Saqqara, bird wooden model, ancient Egypt, aerodynamic sycamore, Great Pyramid Giza, aerial photograph, Egypt stone blocks, Puma Punku, Bolivia, ancient ruins, H-shaped stone blocks, interlocking 1893, Chicago World's Fair White City buildings, aerial photograph, Tartaria, Magna historical map, Asia 17th century cartography, orphan train historical photograph, children 1890s America, out-of-place artifact, ancient technology museum, storage display, number one hook, your 0:45. Everything you were taught about human history follows a single narrative. Primitive cave people, farming, city-states, empires, medieval dark ages, Renaissance, Industrial Revolution, now. It's clean, it's linear. It makes sense. There's just one problem. The physical evidence doesn't fit. Scattered across the planet are artifacts, structures, and anomalies that don't belong in the official story. Not fringe claims, not blurry photos. Physical objects that you can visit, touch, and measure. Objects that someone would rather you not think too hard about. Number Section 1, the UPARTS, out-of-place artifacts, 045 to 330. The Baghdad battery, circa 250 BCE, 640 CE. Found in Iraq in 1938 by archaeologist Wilhelm Koenig. Clay jar containing a copper cylinder and iron rod. When filled with acidic liquid, grape juice vinegar, it generates 1.1, 2.0 volts of electricity. Official history. Electrical power wasn't invented until 1800. What was it powering? Nobody says. Currently sitting in the Iraq Museum. You can look it up. The Antikythera mechanism, circa 100-200 BCE. Bronze mechanical computer recovered from a Greek shipwreck in 1901. Calculates astronomical positions, eclipses, the 4-year Olympic cycle, contains differential gearing, technology not reinvented until the 1600s. 82 fragments survive. Researchers believe up to 1/3 of the device is missing. The manufacturing precision requires tools we still struggle to replicate. The Dendera light bulbs, circa 50 BCE. Stone carvings in the Hathor temple in Dendera, Egypt. Carvings clearly depict what appear to be electrical insulators and light bulbs, with a filament-like element inside a glass envelope, connected to what looks like a power source via coiled cables. The mainstream explanation, they're lotus flowers and snakes. You can look at the carvings. Judge for yourself. The Saqqara bird, circa 200 BCE. Carved from sycamore wood, found in 1898, perfect aerodynamic profile. If it had a tailplane, it would fly. Aeronautical engineers who've studied it say it's a functional aircraft model. Label on the display case says, wooden bird figure. At once, Section 2, the construction problem. 330 and out of 630. Here's the question nobody in mainstream archaeology has satisfactorily answered. How? The Great Pyramid, 2.3 million stone blocks. Average weight, 2.5 tons. Some blocks, 80 tons. Precision, the 4 sides of the base differ by less than 2.1 inches. Aligned to true north within 0.05 degrees. The mortar used, analyzed in 1977, cannot be reproduced with modern chemistry. Construction completion date, unknown. Multiple independent dating methods conflict. Working backward from the 20 years construction timeline given by Herodotus, 2.3 million blocks, 20 years, 315 blocks per day, 315 blocks per day, 10 hours of daylight, 31 blocks per hour, 31 blocks per hour, 1 block every 2 minutes, including quarrying, transportation, and precision placement with copper tools and wooden sledges. The engineers who built the Channel Tunnel, when asked how the pyramids were built, gave a diplomatic answer. One, off the record, told a journalist, "We have no idea, neither does anyone else." Pumapunku, Bolivia. Ruins at 12,800 feet altitude in the Andes. H-shaped interlocking blocks with drill holes of perfect circular cross-section, tolerances of 1/10,000th of an inch, the standard for modern machine parts. The stone, diorite, one of the hardest substances on Earth. The nearest source for this stone, 10 miles away across a lake at a lower altitude. Dating controversy, mainstream says 536-600 CE. Geologist Arthur Posnansky said 17,000 BCE based on astronomical alignments. Norris Section 3, Tartaria. The theory that won't die, 6:30 and 9:30. In 2018, a Reddit post asked a simple question. Why do 19th century buildings look so much older and more advanced than they should? The thread exploded. The theory, now called Tartaria, suggests that a global civilization existed far more recently than believed, far more technologically advanced, and that it was deliberately wiped from the historical record following a catastrophic reset event. Evidence that Tartaria theorists point to the mud flood. Hundreds of 19th century buildings worldwide are partially buried. First floors are often below ground level, with windows underground. The 1811-1812 New Madrid earthquakes caused the Mississippi River to run backward. Thousands of maps from the 1500s, 1800s show Tartaria as a massive empire covering most of Asia. It appears in encyclopedias. It was real. Then it stopped appearing. The 1893 World's Fair, Chicago, the White City, 200-plus buildings constructed in under 2 years, architecture of extraordinary complexity and beauty, demolished almost immediately after. Current explanation, it was temporary, built for demolition, but the construction quality was extraordinary for temporary structures. The orphan trains, 1854 to 1929, 200,000 plus children were relocated across America by train. Official story, they were orphans from New York slums. Problem, the population of New York at the time couldn't have produced 200,000 orphans. Where did they come from? The Tartaria theory is not proven, but it asks questions that mainstream history doesn't answer cleanly. Turfern, Section 4, the pattern, 9:30, 11:30. When you look at these anomalies together, a pattern emerges. Physical evidence of advanced technology that predates the accepted timeline. Mainstream archaeology either ignores it, misidentifies it, or dates it into an acceptable range. Out-of-place artifacts, locked in storage. The Baghdad battery was barely studied for 50 years. Advanced ancient structures, explained with narratives that wouldn't survive scrutiny if applied to modern construction. This isn't about conspiracy. It's about paradigm protection. Thomas Kuhn called it normal science. The established paradigm filters out data that doesn't fit. Not from malice, from inertia, but sometimes the data is too significant to filter. The Antikythera mechanism sat in storage for 2 years after discovery because nobody knew what it was. The lead archaeologist thought it was a navigational instrument. It wasn't examined seriously for 60 years. What's currently in storage that we don't know about? Urchakan Outrow, 11:30, 13. Two possibilities. Either human civilization developed exactly as we were taught, from primitive to complex, slow and steady, reaching our current level only in the last few hundred years, or something happened multiple times. Civilizations rose, reached levels of sophistication we don't fully understand, and collapsed so completely that we filed the ruins under mythology and the artifacts under curiosity. The Baghdad battery is in a museum. The Antikythera mechanism is in a museum. The Saqqara bird is in a museum. They've been there for over a century. The questions they raise haven't been answered. Charcuterie, production notes. Use AI-generated reconstructions of ancient cities. Include direct footage photos of the actual artifacts, all public domain. Tone, measured, journalistic, not sensationalist. Let the evidence speak. Don't oversell. Lashi, SEO package title options. There are two human histories. You only know one. These artifacts don't belong in history, but they're real. The evidence that mainstream history won't explain. Tags ancient civilizations, out-of-place artifacts, Antikythera mechanism, Baghdad battery, Tartaria, mud flood theory, Great Pyramid mystery, alternative history, forbidden archaeology, suppressed history. Estimated production time, 4 to 5 hours with AI tools. Monetization potential, very high algorithm loves mystery, plus archaeology crossover,